Well, here's something a bit different for a Monday morning. I find myself being given the keys to a 72 plate Mk8 Golf R and being told to see what I think of it. We get these cars into tune and we have tuned a few of them, but I've never lived with one of these on a daily basis. So I've got this for 24 hours to tell you the ins and outs of what a Mk8 Golf R is like and show you this particular car in a little bit more detail. Let's put my sunnies on for this, it's a bit bright. I haven't got a clue how to use this. Not a clue. Let's get this back to headquarters and then I can work out what I'm going to do with it. Where's me buttons? Where's me buttons? Anybody that follows our business page will know that I don't mess about. If something's not very good, I'll say it's not very good. If something's great, I'll tell you it's great. Immediately, this feels like a car that you could drive very fast, very easily. Desire, euphoria, vitality, eternity, infinity. Oh, we've got a heated steering wheel. Well, we're back. No one died. On paper, a Mk8 Golf doesn't look like that much of an improvement over a Mk7. The stats and figures are fairly similar. I've driven this one for about 10 minutes today getting it back to the workshop. It's different. Usually when models progress, they get softer and slower. Volkswagen have done the opposite with this. This Mk8 R feels harder, racier and sportier than the outgoing Mk7 and 7.5s. The interior of a Mk8 R is very, very modern. It's completely done away with analog buttons. The only analog buttons in the whole car really are the window switches. The virtual dashboard is lovely. It's a really nice upgrade over analog clocks. The radio on a Mk8 Golf R is housed in this touchscreen up here. It's got this gesture control, so all you have to do is just wave to it. You don't actually have to touch it, and you don't have to get smudgy fingerprints all over the screen. It's got wireless Android Auto and CarPlay, so when you get in, you can just drop your phone into this wireless charging port here. This is pretty decent in the back as well, to be honest. I've got the driver's seat where I would have it. I am exactly 6 foot, and I've got ample leg room. There's at least a hand's width in there. There's these little pockets on the back of here. I don't know what they're for. That's a fairly decent boot space as well. For a car with Haldex, these Golfs, when they've been all-wheel drive, they've always got a much shallower boot because the Haldex system lifts the boot floor up. So yeah, decent. There's no better measure of if a car's any good or not by trying to pair your phone to the Bluetooth and seeing what a disaster it is. Push the button, that's the home thing. Push the telephone button, settings, select mobile. Okay, I think that's worked. Yeah. Okay, that was a completely easy process. That was awesome. Yes, thank you, Volkswagen. That is easy. Should we use Android Auto? All in all, I think the interior on a Mk8 R, after the initial change and getting used to it, that's a beautiful place to be. The magic on a Mk8 Golf starts in the front suspension. The front hubs are completely different. The way this car drives on the road, the way it turns in, the way it corners at speed, this is leagues ahead of what you would see on a Mark 7.5. This is a real step in the right direction. With the Mk8 Golf R, we've moved away from the traditional Haldex systems to a Magna Torque vectoring system. We've got a continually running driveline from the engine to the rear differential. There's then multi-plate clutch packs in line with each drive shaft to allow it to vector the torque side to side and front to back. It gives much more of a split and it allows you to have a more rear-wheel drive bias. That coupled with the sharper steering and the happier tail end is a massive win for Volkswagen. There's times when you're driving this car that it feels rear-wheel drive. The Mk7 and 7.5s were a fairly numb steering feel that maybe centered a bit towards understeer. This thing, miles ahead. Driving dynamics on a Mk8 Golf R wipe the floor with a 7 or a 7.5. Initially, this video is going to seem quite dark outside, and I've done that for a reason, because I want to show you guys how amazing the lighting is on a Mk8 Golf. Not just the interior ambience, but the exterior lighting is incredible. So let's take this for a short drive whilst it warms up and see what a Mk8 R is all about. Anyone who's owned a modern Volkswagen will love this. We're sat in economy mode, we're pulling out of a junction. It just does it without any lag. That is my #1 bugbear of every modern Volkswagen, and they fixed it on a Mk8 R. Thank you, Volkswagen. We're just going to go for a very gentle drive at the moment, just to get the car up to temperature. While we're talking about temperatures, Volkswagen have finally put a gearbox oil temperature in the dashboard. This is a car that was designed to drive fast. Just driving along like this, I could be in a 1.5 TSI. This does not feel like a 300 plus horsepower all-wheel drive hot hatch. I wanted to do a bit of everything in this Golf R. I didn't just want to take it out, nail it up and down between a few roundabouts and say it was mint. If I'm going to endorse a car and say, yeah, that's great, I need to know the facts. So we're taking this car out this morning to drive through what is rush hour traffic. It's 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock in the morning, everyone's getting up and going to work, kids are going to school, it's busy. This car to drive on a daily basis, just like this, feels no different to any other Golf. And that's what you want. You want the ability to drive it around in comfort mode, nice and sensibly. The R badge on this Golf isn't just a trim level. When you push the R button and put this into race mode, it is a completely different beast. The way that this thing drives in race mode, it's like a track car. Everything tightens up, the throttle response becomes sharper, the gear changes get sharper, they change their set points as well, so it shifts a little bit higher up the rev range. And when you start to press on in this car, you find out the differences between a Mk8 and a Mk 7.5. The front hubs and the suspension geometry on the Mk8 make it a much more sure-footed and more responsive drive than the 7 and 7.5s. Where the 7 and 7.5s can feel a little bit numb, the Mk8 just feels completely alive. This is a car you can drive incredibly quickly with absolutely no talent or effort at all. I'm going to get out of this car with a completely different view on Mk8 Golf Rs. I want one. Everything is effortless because fundamentally the car is set upright. I didn't get the Mk8 Golf R until I borrowed this one for a couple of days and took it out and enjoyed it and used it. In every aspect, this is better than a 7 or a 7.5. I don't want to give it back. Can I keep it? Okay, I'm converted. That Mk8 Golf R is one of the best cars I've ever driven as a daily driver. It's fast when you want it to be. The gear changes are amazing. The torque vectoring from the all-wheel drive system is perfect. You don't even know it's there. The front suspension geometry is sharp. It's not numb. It's got a great feel to it. The power's excellent. I could wax on about this car all day. That car has completely converted me. And now I cannot wait for these to start dropping out of the warranty period so that I can get my mitts on them and start modifying more. Blown away.